Welcome to the Met Office 10-day trend, the first one of meteorological winter. And there'll be some wintry weather around, certainly for the rest of this week, with frost, ice in places, and a little bit of snow likely too. Next week, things could get lively. There is the possibility, that's all it is at this stage, of a windy spell of weather, and how that develops will dictate the type of weather we get for much of next week. More on that in just a moment. First of all, let's get back to the rest of this week. We're kind of on a repeat cycle at the moment, with cold air pushing south across the UK and then wafts of milder air trying to push in, one arriving through Friday and then possibly another one arriving on Sunday night and into Monday. Those wafts of warmer air are tied into weather fronts and weather systems that are bringing moisture in from the Atlantic. And the timing of those weather fronts is crucial because they bring the moisture, and if that arrives over the colder air, well, that could bring some sleet and snow in places down to lower levels. But of course, timing is crucial. If the warmer air arrives before the precipitation does, then we'll just mostly see rain, and it's a bit of a knife edge at the moment. Certainly the potential for some sleet and snow on Thursday night and into Friday, and certainly the likelihood of some icy conditions around in places on Thursday morning. So the general theme for the rest of this week, mostly staying on the cold side, brief milder spells, and at times some wintry hazards. Into the weekends, things get a little complicated by just which area of low pressure develops. There's just this little feature down to the southwest which we're keeping an eye on. It looks mostly as if low pressure will dictate things through the weekend, dominating up to the northeast. And with this pressure pattern, the winds coming in from the northwest, again drawing in colder air. But this little feature down to the south has some milder air tucked into it, and also has the potential to bring some heavy rain. Now, at the moment, it looks like that heavy rain is going to affect northern France and the Channel Islands and stay to the south of southern England, but it could just be a little further north, so that's something we need to keep an eye on. At the moment, though, it looks like it'll be a showery day on Saturday in the colder air, so some of the showers will be wintry, mostly over hills. And then on Sunday, a little bump in the isobars, promising, by and large, a fine day, though there will still be some showers down the eastern side. Certainly, though, in the colder air, likely to have frosty mornings this weekend. On the chilly side, sunshine and showers on Saturday, with largely sunny skies on Sunday and just a few showers across the east. OK, what happens next week? And that could get really quite interesting. If you were watching the 10-day trend last week, you'll know that the jet stream, that fast-moving ribbon of air high up in the atmosphere, has been in this kind of position for a while now, arching over the North Atlantic. Let's take a look at what's going on across the other side of the Atlantic, indeed the other side of North America, because there's a strong jet stream here that's powering in weather systems across British Columbia, further flooding likely here over the next few days. It's this energized bit of the jet that we need to watch, the really dark colors there that you can see. And as we run through the next few days, that drives its way across Canada and northern parts of the USA and out into the Atlantic. And as a result of that, energized pulses of the jet tracking their way further south, the jet's switched position compared to where it is now, up to the north, down further south by the time we get to Tuesday. And these little dips in the jet stream are breeding grounds for areas of low pressure. But that's a highly energized jet stream, and that does add uncertainty. Let me show you, for example, what we mean, because this is the pressure pattern from the Met Office computer model for next Tuesday, and it doesn't look too scary at all, does it? This looks just like a fairly standard weather pattern. But if I switch to the American model, because of that energized jet stream, it's really developing an area of low pressure in here. Look at that chart, a really deep area of low pressure to the west of the UK. And that's not the only model suggesting that things could really whip up in the Atlantic as we go through next week. The EC model, the European model, also generates something really quite powerful. At this stage, still out to the west of the UK, but of course it is heading towards the UK. Let's now fast forward to Wednesday and the European model and just look at where this low has gone. It's shifted down to the south, it's not as intense, but it is still potentially going to bring a spell of windy weather. But crucially, as it shifts to the south, that would open the door up to easterly winds and potentially tapping into this really cold air across Scandinavia. But that's just one solution. If I show you what the American model does, remember it generated the low out to the west, but then it takes it up to the north, so a completely different scenario. And it's the developments across North America, that highly energized jet or pulses moving along that highly energized jet, and just how they coincide with that low pressure bring completely different scenarios. In this scenario, we'd see milder air and wetter weather coming in from the Atlantic. So quite a bit of uncertainty, and as I said, you can trace it back to that energized jet crossing North America. A lot's got to happen. This is still a week away, but it's certainly something we need to keep a close eye on. As I said, a lot of uncertainty, and that's really reflected in this graph here. This is for the European model, and it's kind of a confidence-ometer, if you want. Meteorologists often talk about how confident they are in the forecast, and, well, we've got pretty low confidence in the shape and position of that low pressure next week, as this graph shows. The green line is the average line of confidence. And we're going along in time along the bottom here. So as you'd expect, the average weather forecast confidence will drop off the further you are ahead in time. The red line is for this current forecast from the European model. And you can see that early next week really drops down below the average line. So really low confidence. In fact, it drops below the blue line, which is the 90th percentile. So unusually low confidence in the forecast into next week. But a number of computer models are signaling that deep area of low pressure out to the west. So that's something we need to keep a close eye on. The potential for a very windy spell of weather, but high uncertainty. So the message at this stage, yes, staying cold, staying changeable for the next few days. Next week, something we need to keep a close eye on. So make sure you stay up to date with everything from the Met Office. Best way to do that, of course, follow us across social media.